Hey guys, we're going to be playing around with some new KOH GEN DO products today. In my last haul video, I mentioned that KOH GEN DO sent me their brand new foundation brush and their brand new Brightening moisture powder. So we're going to be playing around with these two things. They were also kind enough to send me a bottle of their aqua foundation, which I already had. So we're going to be applying this foundation with their brand new brush, which was released, I believe, March 1st. And this Brightening moisture powder is a pressed powder that was just released on April 1st. So we're going to be doing a full day wear test of this moisture powder. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. This perfect foundation brush retails for $42. The description is, it's a dense yet super soft, flat-tipped duo foundation brush with very fine synthetic bristles that fits our foundation's mineral pigments perfectly and easily on skin. Transfers liquid, cream, and powder foundations precisely to cover all fine lines and pores to get the flawless airbrushed look finish. So this is cruelty-free and vegan, superior grade synthetic bristles. And their tips for using is apply foundation on face, tap or stipple, and finish with buffing the foundation for a natural flawless finish. Alrighty, so I spot cleaned this brush. I did not do like a hard water wash with this yet, but I did spot clean it. And this is what I use to spot clean my brushes. This is a Beauty So Clean Wipeout Brush Cleaner. And many of you ask me what I'd use to spot clean my brush. This is what I use to spot clean my brush, and I purchased this off of Beautylish. I will link to it down below in my description box if you are interested in getting it. It's like quick drying, so it's just great. You know, if you want to use the same brush for different products, you can use this to kind of spot clean in between. And so that's what I use to wash this brush. So I have two KOH GEN DO foundations. I have 123, which when I'm feeling low maintenance, I'll just use the 123 all over my face, and then I just have to make sure I blend it down on my neck. And then I also have 113, which is a touch lighter. So here's 123, here's 113. So I use this on most of my face, and then I'll use the 113 kind of down here by my mouth and my jawline. So that's what we're gonna do today. I'm feeling a little high maintenance. I love the KOH GEN DO Aqua Foundation. I have very dry, sensitive, eczema-prone skin, so this foundation just works really, really well for me. I've done a full review on this. If I can remember, I will link it right up here for you guys. If not, I'll try and remember to link it down below in my description box. So I'm going to start with the 123 and just 2 pumps onto the back of my hand here. And it is an aqua foundation, so it is quite runny and thin in texture. Get my hair out of my face. And I'm just going to tap this brush in just ever so gently. I just want to get the tips in there, not, I don't want to like dunk it in too deeply there. So that's what I have on the brush. I'm going to just start by swiping. Well, my first observation is this brush is very dense at the top, but the bristles are still soft enough to have movement, which I really like. I don't like those really dense foundation brushes that really kind of just feel like the bristles are kind of like one solid solid piece. You know, they don't have like any fluidity, but these bristles do. You can actually see that right on my skin there. So this actually works really well to stipple because they are so dense. And because they're soft, I don't feel like I'm stabbing my face. So now that the foundation has set a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and actually buff a little bit and really work that in. Wow, that's nice. I really like the feel of these bristles. They're very different from other synthetic brushes that I've tried. Like I said, a lot of the foundation brushes that I've used that have this shape are synthetic, and I don't know, they're either too dense or they're not dense enough, and they just, I don't know, they're either moving the product too much or they're not doing anything, and this seems to really be very effective. Nice, I like the finish that it's leaving. All right, let me just add the 113 shade, the lighter shade, to the lower half of my face here. I actually like strokes with this brush. It doesn't leave any actual brush strokes, which I think is pretty amazing. Well, I have to say I'm really impressed with this brush. The perfect foundation brush. So this launched March 1st. I don't know if I mentioned that. Well, very nice. And you guys know that I'm not typically a fan of synthetic brushes. I like them for some things. I really don't mind them for cream and liquid products. So this is a great option for a foundation brush. So I've got my KOH GEN DO Moisture Fit Concealer. I'm just going to add some of this to my eye area. I have it in the shade 2, and it's a really nice soft peach color, so there's like a little bit of brightening and correcting in there, but not too much. It's not, you know, too salmony. So it's really great for me. I don't have a ton of dark circles, but I have a little bit of discoloration. So I think maybe I'll try this foundation brush. Let's see. Wow, that foundation brush did a pretty good job blending in my concealer too. Oh, nice. All right, foundation brush, good job. So now for the star of the show, we have the Brightening Moisture Powder. And like I mentioned, this was released on April 1st. They sent me some info here, so I just wanted to share that with you guys. This is, oh, it's limited edition. Interesting. There is 9 grams of product. It's $55. It is a translucent brightening powder. It has a silky finish. It's supposed to brighten up your complexion. It's packed with the newest powder technology that infuses the mineral powders with 10 moisture-retaining botanical emollients, hyaluronate, and ceramides for a beautiful long wear. Diamond powders added for that exquisite radiance to finish off your makeup with a perfect soft veil of light. No artificial colors, no synthetic fragrance, no mineral oil, no parabens. The first ingredient in here is talc, just so you guys know. Can be used to set foundation or touch up to add a sheer luminosity to the skin. So I'm going to use a powder brush that I know and love. This is the xoxo Z1 brush, just so I'm not introducing anything new while we play with a brand new product. But let's take a look at the actual product here. Here is the compact. So it has this beautiful KOH GEN DO, like metallicized red. It's like a rounded compact. Inside we have a mirror. Woo! We have a little brush, which I won't use. And then it kind of looks like a cushion foundation compact here. So it has the lid, and then there is the powder underneath. Isn't that cool looking? So it has like these swirls. Let me just do a quick swatch for you guys. And I swatched this when I hauled it, and there is quite a bit of sheen there. And I am not one really that likes sheen in my setting powders, but I am just such a big fan of KOH GEN DO powders that I think it will probably work. So I'm gonna go ahead and tap the brush in here. So I just tapped the brush in there very lightly. It picked up plenty of product, but there's like no kick up in the pan. I don't even know if you guys can see that, but there's like no kick up in the pan. It's actually pretty amazing. I've actually noticed that with a lot of the KOH GEN DO powders. They pick up really easily. It would kind of make you assume that there's going to be like all this powder sitting in the pan once you remove your brush, but there isn't. There just isn't any kick up. It's great. So let me go ahead and apply this. And I'm just applying it to the right side of my face so we can do a quick comparison. All right, let me take a close look here. Wow, that finish is beautiful. I love, as you guys know, I love the KOH GEN DO natural lighting powder, the loose one. It gives like just a hint of radiance to my skin. And like I mentioned, I don't really like radiance in my setting powders, but that one has like just enough to make my skin look healthy and glowy without adding any sort of like artificial glowiness or anything that's too kind of like metallicized or sparkly or anything like that. It just is like a beautiful sheen, and that is exactly what this is doing. It's just a beautiful sheen. There are no like bits of even the slightest hint of glitter. There's none of that. This sheen basically makes it look like I don't have any powder on my skin. It doesn't look powdery or matte in any way. It just makes my skin look like I'm glowing. Let me just look straight on into the camera. So this side is powdered, this side is not powdered. I really love this really subtle pearly sheen here. Isn't that pretty? When I apply the powder on, I do see a little bit of brightening. So I don't know how this would show up on a deeper skin tone, if it would look a little bit, I don't know, like if there's a little bit too much white in there. But on my skin tone, it looks nice. It looks really, really brightening. All right, so there is the powder applied all over my face. So far, I'm thrilled. Granted, it's only been about 15 minutes, but I really love this finish. This is so, so beautiful to me. I love it. So I'm gonna put on some very, very light makeup. In fact, I may forego doing any kind of blush, bronzer, highlight. I just really want to see how this powder works. I definitely don't want to add anything to like my under eyes. I want to see if it starts to look powdery or cakey at all. I'll probably put on some eyeshadow and some lipstick. How does that sound? Because then I feel like those things really aren't going to interfere with the powder. So I'll do that, and then I will be back. Oh, what time is it? So it's about 9:30 in the morning. So I'll be back at around 12:30, 1 o'clock, around lunchtime, and we'll do a first check-in. So I'll see you then. Hey guys, it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's been about 4 hours since I put on this powder. So let's go ahead and take a close look at my skin. I am loving it. I think my skin looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and get some close-ups here. And I just want to show you the texture on my cheek. It just looks so smooth and just so pearly and like luminous, but from within, radiant without being too glowy. And aside from its beautiful finish, I think it's acting as a very good powder. It has really set down this foundation. I don't feel like I'm seeing any breakage, any sort of shifting, any kind of migration into lines or anything odd with the foundation, and I think it all looks good. I don't feel like I'm seeing any major fading or anything, even around my kind of trouble areas. I'm seeing just a hint of fading down here in my nostrils. I have allergies. I did have to wipe away some, nose stuff, boogers. I mean, they weren't totally boogers. Anyway, I did have to I was trying to be super gentle because I didn't really want to disturb the makeup, but I did kind of like have to pat away some stuff. So there's definitely a little bit of fading down here, but for the rest of my face, I feel like it's done a really good job as a powder. I do want to mention that I feel like I look a little bit shiny right here between my brows and then right here next to my nose. As a very, very dry skin person, I don't mind when I have a little bit of glow, but I think because this powder has so much moisture retention and it does contain so many ingredients that's supposed to help the moisture levels of your skin, maybe this may not be the best powder if you have extremely oily skin and you really hate the look of like shininess on your face. This powder may not be for you. So I'll be back around dinner time to give you like an 8 or 9 hour kind of like final check-in, final thoughts, and I'll see you then. It's about 5:30 in the afternoon. I've had this powder on for 8 hours now, and I was just checking myself out in the mirror, and I think what I mentioned at the first check-in, where I was looking a little bit glowy, kind of basically in my T-zone, maybe not my chin, but just my forehead and next to my nose here, I think it just looks a little bit shinier even now, maybe 3.5, 4 hours later. I already forget when my first check-in was, but it's just looking a little bit shinier right here, and just a little bit shinier right in here. The tip of my nose looks a little bit shinier, and actually I'm seeing a little bit of radiance peek through on my chin. But you can see that it is still looking quite nice on my cheeks. Maybe I look a little bit more radiant on my cheeks, but I don't think I've gotten to the point where I look like too shiny over here. I do think I've reached that point maybe right here between my eyebrows, and maybe a little bit right here around my nose. Even over here, I feel like it looks okay. I feel like I just look very glowy and healthy. I have not changed my thoughts since the initial application, since the first check-in. I really, really love this powder. I think it looks gorgeous on the skin. I love the little bit of radiance that it has. I love the pearly sheen that it gives my skin. I think it applied really beautifully. I love the fact that it was very easy to pick up on my brush. But it wasn't extra powdery. There's no kick up or anything in the pan. And I love that it's really beautiful to look at. I just love that little swirly effect in there. So I am very, very happy with this powder. The one thing I want to try before we leave is using this as a finishing powder. So I'm just going to quickly add some like powder, blush, and highlight. And then what we'll do is use this powder to buff it out. So I'll be right back. All right, so I have some bronzer, blush, and highlight on. I put on kind of an obnoxious amount of bronzer and blush because I want to be able to see if the buffing action of this powder really works. So I'm going to use my trusty Sonia G Face One brush. I'm going to dip it into the powder. Just going to stamp and buff. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. I think that did a wonderful job buffing. It works great as a finishing powder also. Look at that beautiful sheen. I just love this powder. So big, big thumbs up from me. Again, this is limited edition. I'll leave a link to it down below in the description box. At the moment, I only see it on the actual KOH GEN DO site. I know Nordstrom and Beautylish and even Sephora has some KOH GEN DO products, but I haven't seen this product actually pop up there. So I'll link to the KOH GEN DO site if you are interested in this. I love it. I absolutely love it. I am not going to be surprised if this ends up in my April favorites. It's just a gorgeous powder. I'm so, so happy with it. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Comment down below if you have any questions and subscribe before you leave. I would love that. And I'll see you in my next video.